Hey folks, welcome to another day, another unboxing. What we have here is the Xiaomi Mi 10 5G. And yeah, the light is reflecting on this in a really cool way right now. This is the box. There's really not too much about this box. I'm not quite sure how close to retail this product is because it's a review unit and sometimes the press sends you pre-production. But let's have a look. So, dun 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 dun. Nothing inside the lid. Then we got a divider here. Let's see what's in here. Guess you have to open it this way. Just a SIM removal tool, no documentation. Again, I'm pretty sure this is a pre-production box. Then we've got the phone itself, which I might have to tip out of it. It's right there. All right, we got the phone. Then we got a divider here and some accessories. Look at that. Ooh, that looks like a pretty big charger. I think this might be 30-watt charging, but I'm not sure. Let's have a look. So there you go. And now we got a USB Type-C to Type-A cable, of course. There it is, Type-A on this end, Type-C on the other end, very typical. Now, in very similar fashion to OnePlus and Huawei, a lot of these Chinese phones are using proprietary adapters and proprietary cables together to deliver that high-speed charging, fast charging at 40, 30, 60, 50 watts, right? So this, you'll have to pretty much use this charger with this cord to get the fast charging. Now, it still supports PD and standard USB Type-C charging, but it's not going to be as fast. And you have to use the right cable and charger to make that work. So the other thing about this phone is the first Xiaomi phone, well, one of the first, that has high-speed wireless charging at 30 watt as well. So that's actually pretty exciting too. All right, I think that's it for the box. There's no headphones or adapter or anything like that. So let's put that aside and look at the phone, shall we? Before we do, I can feel an IMEI sticker in the back. I'm going to remove it. And here we are. Ooh. Look at that. So this is a pretty nice premium flagship from Xiaomi. They haven't really done a phone that's this fancy in a while. Now there is a Mi 10 Pro 5G, which is even better, has better camera specs. But this is still a pretty great phone for roughly $679, like a little less than $700. You got to give them props for making essentially a flagship. Like, let's talk about the specs really quickly. While I turn this on, ooh, nice vibration. So this is a Snapdragon 865 device. That's the big news here. That's what's exciting. And it has, depending on the configuration, it has 12 gigs of RAM or 8 gigs of RAM, and then 128 gigs of storage or 256 gigs of storage. I don't know what they sent me, but 8 or 12 gigs of RAM, 256 or 128 gigs of storage. And that display here is a 6.67 inch AMOLED display. It is a 1080p panel. As you can see, it's really beautiful. It's a little waterfall, but very faint. It's almost flat, as you can see. I like that. I don't mind a little bit of waterfall, but too much is just a pain. It's running Android 10 with MIUI 11, 90 Hertz, 1080p display, AMOLED. There is a hole punch camera up here and an earpiece. This front camera is a 20 megapixel f/2.0 with 0.9 micron pixels. Pretty standard fare these days. And you can see there's very little bezel, so that's really well done. In addition to the Snapdragon and the RAM, there is a pretty large battery in here, which is nice. It is a 4780 milliamp hour battery. So 4780 is a pretty decent number. With a Snapdragon 865, it's going to last quite a while. Of course, this is a 5G phone, so it'll be interesting to see if it supports 5G low band in the US, if it'll work on AT&T or T-Mobile, for example. And I will let you know on the podcast. I'll test this out. Now let's talk about those rear cameras. As you can see, there is 4 rear cameras here, so that's exciting, and you're probably wondering about them. So the first one, the main one, is a 108 megapixel camera, right? And it's f/1.7, which is pretty impressive, 0.8 micron pixels, OIS. And I'm not sure how it pixel bins, whether it does 4:1 or 9:1, because some phones with that sensor have done 4:1 binning for 27 megapixel output. Some phones have done 9:1, like the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra, and you end up with 12 megapixel photos. So it'll be interesting to see how it does it. It does have a 13 megapixel ultra wide with f over 2.4. Not sure about the size of the pixels. Then it has a macro camera, 2 megapixels. And it has a depth sensor, 2 megapixels. So, you know, some of these cameras are probably a little redundant. You could have used the ultra-wide for portraits and not having needed the other two. You could also do macro with an ultra-wide if you put autofocus on it. So, unfortunately, there's no telephoto here, and I believe that's one of the big differences between the Xiaomi Mi 10 and the Mi 10 Pro this year. So, as you can see, it's starting to pick up fingerprints like mad. But yeah, it's a fine-looking device. The price is right, less than $700 for a 5G phone with a Snapdragon 865 and some pretty decent specs. Obviously, there's an in-display fingerprint sensor in here. It's not clearly shown. I told you it has 30-watt wireless charging and 30-watt regular charging with, of course, this relatively large 4780 milliamp hour battery. So that, folks, is the Xiaomi Mi 10 5G. I look forward to trying it out and letting you know what I think in the podcast. So please stay tuned for more content here on the channel. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, comment below, click the little notification bell below. And remember, the podcast is at mobiletechpodcast.com. We're on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, and Spotify. Please subscribe and tell your friends. And stay tuned for more content soon. Cheers, everybody.